grief is like a cat that kind of pounces on you. Like you know it's in the room, but you don't always see it until suddenly it's like landed on your keyboard.
This is not
It is something that I stumbled across trying to track her down after I lost track of her for 5 years. I searched for her name on the internet.
Trying to borrow against generations of...
And this photo came up, and it was very clearly her. It was tagged with
performances,
and she was trying to hide. But it was taken when she was an undergrad years before I saw it. And that's the photograph that I think of just because maybe it's the last time that I saw what she looked like. It's the oldest that I ever saw what she looked like.
This is the story of Jesus, but it's the story of the intersection of the divine and humanity. It's the story of humanity to be constantly vulnerable, to be constantly injured by the world in large ways and small ways, like in that part of the scripture. To fall over and over again. Sometimes it feels like the last time you'll ever fall. And that you're still rise. That light will come in front of you and always be lit.
I've always placed a lot of importance on not believing something if I didn't think I could prove that it was true, or if I thought that it was not the most likely scenario based on the available facts.
I think it's still there. It's not as intense as it, like, the first year after he died, I used to, like, look myself in the mirror and just, like, rip myself a new one about it. And, like, yelling at myself in the mirror about how it was all my fault.
A real lack of tools for
my
dealing with
younger
my
brother
mortality.
had attempted right before I got married.
I fall into every time I think about
And
it.
I know my dad.
There's something different about being scared.
I know he was
of
hurting,
the
but he definitely
situation
conveyed some blame
that
on me
I got
for
myself
it.
into.
Even though my brother, I was in college at
what
Knox, like
steps
pretty
got
far
me
from
there.
Paducah. Like, you know, Paducah's about like 5-6 hours away from
Different
Chicago. Knox
it
is
was
pretty
to,
similar.
like, have this experience of waking up somewhere
And so I think I remember saying
how I got myself in this
in grad
situation.
school, I was talking to the professor. I was like, yeah, if someone else in my family attempts, I'm
What
just
do I
going to
do to
quit
get back
because,
out of it?
you know, what kind of psychologist will I be? And I didn't quit, obviously. That thought opened up just
it
in
feels
my
almost
head
like
after it happened.
feeling.
Yeah, things like what will happen, or like will I tell my children if I have them about, you know, their grandpa Annabelle? How will I share stories with him? How will I tell them why he's not here? I really think it's worse than I'm still with him in a position. But I feel a lot more comfortable talking about how he died and my process around it, because it's been 7 years this past May, so I've had some time to sit with it. I know it's in the room, but I don't want to see it until suddenly it's in the room.
I had no
When I'm doing okay, it feels
like emotional
what a wonderful
tools for
rest this will
knowing
be.
how to draw lines or how to push back or how to say
I need
no. I
time
just
to
thought
be
like,
quiet
if she
and
said no,
fulfilled,
yeah, let's do
and
it.
not have to worry about the
And I was
future.
so scared. You know,
The
when I was a
first sleep
kid,
of summer vacation after a really
if
hard
I
semester.
was awake and everybody else in the house would go to sleep, like, I was so afraid of being alone in that way.
I think it's hard not to lay blame.
It's like, it feels almost like
When I'm not doing okay,
that feeling in the dream where you're falling and then all of a sudden you wake up.
panic.
And like
And
that
my
moment of
brain
falling
goes to
where
the
you're like,
existential plummet of,
there's
what is
nothing,
this?
my brain doesn't
Repeated
have
infinitely,
anything to
not
latch
until it
onto
loses
of
all
like,
meaning,
what,
until everything else
what
in
am I gonna do
existence
about this?
ends. My therapist suggested that I could decide to believe in something, and it made me realize, in pretty much every other case, there are real, concrete reasons to be firm about what we believe. It's not that with death we have no meaningful information on what it might be like, but in a very concrete way, every piece of information we have leads me to believe that what I believe about death will have no effect on what it is like, so I may as well believe what will have a positive effect on me now.
One of the things that really came up for me when I was exploring God in a Jewish sense was one of the names for God means the compassionate one, the loving one. And that really kind of rocked my world. And I realized that I didn't have to get caught up in like big G God who I have to somehow make explain why bad things happen to good people or explain like, you know, why the world is the way it is.
Press 1 now.
My friend Tom's
If your
parents were a
account has
little
not
less
been verified,
involved than mine were,
customer
and he had a
assistance
furnished
services will
basement,
not find you.
and he had a girlfriend,
Press
and I
1
had
now
a
to
girlfriend.
verify
We
your
would play
payment,
Magic
or press
together
9
in the
to
basement,
remove
which, we never once took out a deck of cards. We basically would listen to music and make out.
So here it is. I believe, or want to believe, or choose to believe, or allow myself to believe.
Hi, Jeffrey. I'm sorry I missed your call, honey. I would love
There was a local amusement park which has since been bought out by Six Flags. We shared our first kiss at the top of the Ferris wheel. Of course, right?
I think I want to always, one of the things my parents struggled with was having developmentally appropriate conversations with me about their trauma. Both my parents had very, really tough childhoods, that they did a lot of work to not visit the physical abuse that they had endured on my brother and I. They did a great job holding each other accountable for that. But, so I want to make sure that I think that's my first question is how do I talk about it with them at different ages? I think when they're younger, it's pretty sufficient to say that Grandpa Megabo died.
My day-to-day work is fine. I
that
get a
thing
lot
that
of
you're
stuff
really,
done,
really
but you
focused
throw me in
on
an
might
emergency
not be
situation
important
in
at
a
all.
clutch. And
But you
my whole
spend
world
countless
narrows down to a
hours
single
trying
point.
to get this thing
And I
perfect
can,
and make
I mean,
this
absolutely, my
one
brain
little
will
aspect
never
work
stop
that's just kind of bugging
working
you.
on solutions. And,
And
the
it's the kind
generalized
of thing
anxiety
that you
part
sit back
means
and look at
that
the
It's
whole
unimportant what I have
that
chosen to
piece
believe.
is maybe not
Just
noticeable
know that it's
or
enough
doesn't
for me.
actually mean anything or doesn't change anything.
Sometimes our brains
Everything
get
that you did
sick.
actually didn't help it at
And
all.
that when our brains get sick, it leads us to do things, or it leads us to make decisions that can hurt us. I'm kind of failing at this because it's something that I want to be
taking a moment to sit
careful
on
of,
a
to not
cliff
stigmatize
and
my
watch
dad
the
in and not
sunrise.
stigmatize mental health for my kids. Like, I don't want to also give them this worry of like, wait, when will my brain get sick then? Like,
You read the story of Jesus being crucified that night. You read the story
And it
of the
turns
death
out it's
of God
only
that
actually
night,
like
basically.
45 minutes
For a couple of
later
but I think I do want them
than
to
when I
know
thought it was.
how.
And
We had another
I had
suicide in our
fallen
family.
asleep
I didn't learn about it until I was in my late
Hi,
20s.
Sitting on a warm
This
workshop,
is your
idly
sister.
browsing
I'm
chairs.
just
Died by suicide. Kind of, in some ways, with some similar
Hi,
pieces to me. And that was kind of a contributing factor to their deaths, or to their state of mind, or
Yeah.
I think it
This
might
is
have
Kathy.
decisions.
So
We
it's
were
sort of
calling
like
to wish you
going,
And I didn't know
having
about that
a
until I was
very
older,
weird
like
dream
much older,
that
and so I
was
kind of always felt like I was the crazy one in our family.
First
really
bison
happened.
egg roll from a familiar Chinese
Sort of
place down
like
the
felt
street.
like waking
When
up
I was
in a
always
dream
I was kind of always in
not just
therapy,
figuring out how
like
to get out of
So
it.
sorry
It
you
was
missed
my
actually
parents saw a
pretty
psychiatrist, but they weren't
No
in
time.
therapy.
I'd like to talk to you about
So
unwell.
I think I want
just
to
finished listening to it this
do what I
week.
can to let my
Was it
kids
So
know what their
anyway, all
history
right.
is.
Well, maybe we'll talk
and,
to you
like,
later tonight or something.
know that it's
All
something we
right.
can
Bye
talk
bye.
about, and that there's no shame around.
Hey Jeff, this is Dad. Just calling to call.
And yeah,
When
I
you
don't want my
have
kids
a
to feel
moment,
like the
give me a
crazy
call.
ones.
Love you. Bye-bye.
All of the trials, the loneliness and doubt in the Garden of
I can
Gethsemane.
really talk about
And that
anything
brings
where I've
God
just
to
felt
us
like-
here. That
makes me
brings
feel kind of incandescently
God to
happy.
side
Like I
by
just feel
side
like I
with
have
God's
this like
children.
light bulb in my chest that just like slowly gets brighter and brighter, even when I just like
I
think
work
about
in a
that.
hospital setting where what we might call the problem of
be-
evil comes up all the time.
I think some
Which
of my
is
experiences
the
of coming
notion
home
of
from that date and like happy to go back to our
very,
apartment
very
together
old question.
and like
If God is all good and all powerful, why do
cuddle
bad
on the
things happen to
couch or
good
go
people?
straight to
Why do
bed,
good
or
things happen to
like
bad people, all that stuff.
have drinks from
And
our respective like drinks that we enjoy, and just
so a lot of my notion of
really get to be
where is
in
God?
connection with
It's
each other and just
less a question of where is God and where can we find
light
God.
at that experience.
Less what can we know to be sacred and
I
what
think
can we
blessed
recognize
is the right
as
word. Like
sacred.
I'm unabashedly
Where
going to
can
use
we
it, but
find
incredibly fortunate.
and acknowledge holiness? Where can we feel and experience the sacred?
Thank you.
Love you. Bye-bye.
The Fable and Folly Network, where fiction producers flourish.